Thank you, Mr President. I rise today to speak with great sadness and concern about the plight of the little penguins on Granite Island. Our iconic colony of little penguins on Granite Island faces many threats, and devastatingly, their numbers are declining. The current population was estimated last year at some 20 penguins, with a new survey scheduled for the end of the coming month. Advocates for the little penguins are saying that they're expecting the numbers to be even lower this year. This colony is the last colony in the Fleurieu Peninsula, and the community is rightly worried that the Granite Island penguins might soon be extinct as well. I had the pleasure of going down to Victor Harbour last week and meeting with some of the very dedicated volunteers from the Save Granite Island Penguins Committee, who are monitoring and fighting to protect this precious and much-loved population of little penguins. The little penguins on Granite Island have been part of the local environment down there for over 100 years. For decades, tourists have come from near and far to see these little penguins, and in that time their population has plummeted. More than 20 years ago, there were 2,000 penguins on the island. Now there are barely 20, due to the ongoing threats of climate change, human disturbance and feral animals. There are also concerns that the new causeway will bring a tidal wave of people back to the island, which, while great for tourism and, of course, the local economy, could lead to further disturbances to the little penguins, and that will affect their colony's ability to breed and survive. These little penguins are a vital part of our state's ecosystem. As we face losing them, we must remember that their loss, even just a further decline in their numbers, can lead to sudden losses and other impacts in our marine ecosystem. Extinction, of course, is forever. But extinction can also be avoided. We know that this little colony population can bounce back quite well when given the chance. In fact, it's had that chance. It was given that chance with the advent of COVID. While people were staying home, and in 2020 and 2021, the population thrived. The population bounced back. There were new burrows, penguins roaming, noises, and it looked like there was about to be a bumper breeding season. But then Granite Island was reopened, and we saw a brutal fox attack that set numbers plummeting back down to just 16. To add to the colony's stresses, this year they've had to contend with the ongoing construction on the island, and we know what works, and that we do have interstate examples in both WA and Victoria of governments who've stepped in to save their penguin colonies. There are very simple things we can do, and that is including the basic and long called for by the community, establishing a curfew for visitors on Granite Island around the penguin colony. We need to be more explicit in our community and tourist education in the area as well, and people must keep clear of burrows with no bright white lights aimed at the penguins. I think, Mr President, you'd remember, as I do, when I had my now very adult young children, people would take their torches and go look for the little penguins. In fact, that torchlight can blind them for an entire day. We need little noise, and we definitely need no dogs. We are approaching our last chance to help these little penguins survive. It is long past time that we needed a strategy to secure the future viability of this population of little penguins in our state. The government and the Department for Environment and Water must step up, and I say that it is both incredible yet heartbreaking that the work that the volunteers and academics are doing down there, that they have to undertake to protect these penguins. With little to no help from the government, Flinders University and the Save Penguins Group have been paying for signage, research, necropsies for dead birds and the ongoing monitoring of the colony. And while the department did used to contribute some money, it's my understanding that even the poultry funding that they used to get has now been cut. This is not good enough when it comes to the loss of such an iconic and important population of little penguins in our state. There's so much more we could be doing to protect these penguins, and I urge the government and the department to consider the following. Implement a curfew for visitors to the island. It doesn't have to be permanent, but at least 2 years. Not just 1 year, but 2 years, so that this population, as it did under COVID, can start to bounce back. Fund the funded scientific reports from the department with the recommendations that still haven't been implemented, need to be implemented. We need to increase communication and collaboration with volunteers, researchers who've been monitoring and advocating for these little penguins. And as they said to me last week, we just want the government and the department to work with us.